discussed, I don't know if she is joining or not, but I already discussed this with Sanjung, so there should be a lot of new things for her. And we were talking about the UX priorities, and I copy pasted some things from our one-on-one doc to expedite the discussion here. And so basically going one by one, I'm not going to explain the issues and the epics, but I can of course answer any questions if someone has them. But basically the framework for other merge request widgets, the research came back with open questions, and we need to resolve them. So Catherine will be leading the follow-up research issue, and I'll be there to support. And my idea is, as soon as we start seeing a light, hello, Sanjay.
Sorry, I was confused about. So thank you.
Yes, yeah, you're on time. Don't worry. We're in the point 1A still. So, but my idea with that is to try as soon as possible to delegate the work to other groups, so that they either start doing their own research, instrumenting things, whatever it takes for us to have more knowledge and make more informed decisions. But of course, the code review group will be there to support and guide them through all of this and facilitate collaboration between all of these groups. And that will be my role, which I hope I'll have more time to do. But I think that in the meantime, there are things that we can do to distance ourselves, code review, from the merge request widgets. And I'll get to those in a minute, but I want to stop there for any questions about this one.
I do have a question. So thinking of the research, the follow-up research plan, and how that's more around the workflow and when and how users are using it, would you say that, or what would you say the role of that research would be in terms of the framework? Like, is that blocking, or is that just kind of information we want to gather in general, but doesn't necessarily block the framework for other widgets?
I think that's a good question. Well, I think the framework should be solving something. And yes, we have inconsistencies today that we can solve in terms of the experience, but the merge request widgets, I think they're usable, right? They like, a user can go in and I can see widgets that talks about, I don't know, security vulnerabilities. I can expand the widget. I can see the vulnerabilities. I can use the widget in each one. Sure, we can make some tweaks here and there, but I don't think that's at least my focus. That should be more the focus of the groups themselves. What I'm more concerned is how helpful the current design of the widgets and how they are presented, and in the location that they are, and the emphasis that they have, if they help users solve their problems. So one thing is being efficient and usable. The other thing is being helpful and effective in solving their problems. And I don't think we have information to say that they're helpful and that they're effective in addressing their needs. So that's more what I want to learn, so that we can then take all of that and decide, hey, is this the current design? Is this current design what we want for the merge request widgets? Do we want to shove all of them into a tab? you know, or do you want to put them, I don't know, I'm just saying things like put them in the sidebar, or only show the blocking widget. So only show like if a security vulnerability is blocking the merge requests from being merged, we highlight that, but everything else is optional and not shown by default. So there are many things that we can do here that will make the experience much better. And I think it's better for us to wait to have that knowledge than to start pushing other groups around to make changes that, yes, will improve things a little bit, but not substantially, because we still don't know if they're helpful.
That's what I was thinking too, because I was like, they could make all the changes, but if we were to find out something that made us think we might want to display the information somewhere else, then I wondered if that would be seen as negative, since they already like aligned everything to the framework. So thank you for providing that context.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that you're willing to take this on. And if anything, this part about the merge request widgets can be framed in terms of cross-stage collaboration and increasing the stages per organization and stages per user. So if you need to argument that with Adam and others, these are KPIs that everyone is looking at, and will help the groups have more paid users, will help the experience be better for everyone for this single platform. So I think it's strategic research. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think it is too. And I also know that the MR overview page is like one of our top 40 most visited pages or something like that. So I think that also falls into the general concerns of usability for like our high visibility pages, things like that. So I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and we will, both of us, we will talk about this async and sync if needed. Then the merge requests that require my attention. So we already have a direction for this, what we want to do. Breakdown is happening. I still think that we can probably do a very quick solution validation on this with unmoderated usability tests. So what I'm thinking about here is that, yes, I've made those proposals and I'm mostly supporting the work breakdown. I would love if Sanjung could review the work that I did here, and potentially one of us, either Sanjung or me, would do the solution validation just to iron out some of the things to make sure that we are thinking well about this and that the must-haves are real must-haves and the nice-to-haves are real nice-to-haves. And just so you're aware, the solution validation shouldn't take that long. So because we're using in the platform that we use for testing, for usability tests right now, moderated usability tests, it's called usertesting.com. And in one of the last testing sessions that was about the navigation, but that targeted GitLab and GitHub users, we had the tests done in 3 hours. So we had 5 users going through the tests, and we had all of the results in 3 hours. And that's amazing. That's much better than what we had before usertesting.com. So I'm confident that if we have something in just a few days, we have the results of the tests, and we can make some informed decisions about the finer details of the designs. Yeah, it's okay, Kai, if you want to voice that. Okay. Okay, so basically what Kai said, I'm going to voice it. So what Kai said was that maybe we won't get a lot of this prioritized for 13.11, and that we have some time here to iron out things for 14.0. Okay, and then after that, what I was thinking that Sanjung could work on, and that ties in nicely with the previous points, so A and B, is the consolidation of the global MR actions and information. So we don't have a specific issue for this. We have scattered issues. We have one for actions, another one for a sticky header, another one for always displaying the branch information in a visible location. And I think this can be something that Sanjung could drive through the time that she is with us. And I don't know how long it would take for us to have a validated design vision, designs that are user validated and that we can break down for implementation. But I'm confident that this fits within the 3 milestones. And I'm also confident that by working on this, so the goal of consolidating them, the actions and informations, and having them in a visible and easily accessible location, regardless of the merge request, would allow us to move a lot of the actions and information that are important no matter what merge request it is from the merge request widget. So we can distance ourselves from the merge request widget and place, for example, the branch information, the checkout buttons, the download buttons, the open in web ID, the merge button, the approve button, place all of these important actions in a consistent location. So that would alleviate a lot of the pains that people have today with the merge request widget, and that Catherine also noted in this recent research and in previous research, that what people talk a lot about is that there's a lot in the merge request widget and I have to go through it every time I want to do approve or want to merge or want to check out the merge request. And it's information that people don't need at all times. So I think this could help us distance ourselves from it. And at the same time, it can tie in nicely with the merge requests that require my attention. Because one of the problems with that design direction is that the actions for review for a reviewer are scattered. So we would have wait for assignee, re-request review, approve. They're all in separate locations. So if we can have a consistent location for all of them or some of them, that would be great. Yeah, any questions or comments? Okay. And then finally, the last two, one of them restructuring the merge request, merge widget. It's something that we're already breaking down and feel is creating issues for it. I don't think there's a lot of capacity needed from us here. And the last one is catching up on a merge request. And this is something that I had initially thought that Sanjung could take the lead. But as Kai rightly mentioned in one of the previous calls, we don't know what is the ideal end state for this now. We're aware it's a problem, or better yet, there are many similarly related problems, but we need to synthesize the existing research and see what we have before we can start understanding what would be the best place for us to start working on this. So I don't think this is something that she will be able to work within the 3 milestones. And it's one of the biggest problems that we've recognized in merge requests, and that I would like to prioritize for us to work on. Yeah, so and with this, I'm opening it to discussion. If you agree, disagree, if you think not only from the UX research side, but also from the product side, and also from the technical writing, from what you've also seen in documentation and in issues, if there are other things that could be more important or other ways for us to break down this work. Kai, you're awfully quiet today. What's wrong?
I'm good. I'm is planning finalization day. I have to get planning done, so I'm just.
Okay.
I am supportive. I think this is a good plan. I like the two things that you have highlighted here, and I think those are both actionable and completable, or more doable than some of the other things here. So I think this makes a ton of sense. So thank you.
I think for me, it would help when we get closer to time that I can get an issue assigned to me to track the changes to the documentation, because I'm beating the capacity planning drum really hard with the technical writers. They are just going to get on board with this. And I'm trying to make sure that I can actually plan for my milestones instead of just, reacting when something shows up in my to-dos, which is what I'm doing now.
Okay. And what about you, Catherine, in terms of, yeah, all of the body of research that we have, anything else that you think could be a higher priority?
Not at the moment. I think these make sense. I think the widget in general, the MR overview page, and kind of figuring out the information hierarchy, I think that'll be really important. That'll be a really great win. And then also these other areas align with what we've seen. So I think you hit the nail on the head.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. That's great to hear. Okay, yeah, that's what I had in my mind that I wanted to share with you today and to hear your thoughts on, so that I can then relay this to Marcel, and also to Jackie, Sanjung's product design manager, so that everyone is aware of what this partnership is aiming to achieve. Anything else on your mind that you'd like to talk about? Any concerns?
So I added a question, and then was just going to ask you offline because we didn't need to have a meeting so I could ask my question. But since we're here, when is the external survey going out?
Great question. I have the same question because yeah, everything is ready for quite some time, but it looks like we're tweaking how many people we would need, and then so Caitlin, she is our UX research coordinator. She told me that we needed to increase the incentive of the gift cards, and I updated that. And yeah, I think it's on her to-do list at the moment. So I don't know when she will get to it. I can try to get an estimate of when it will go out, but yeah, to be honest, I was hoping that it was already out and we already have the results. So yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend that you just ping her to get an estimate of it, because if it might take, like if it's lower on the list of whatever she has planned currently, then you might want to take a different path in the meantime or something.
Okay, I'll ask her.
Would you mind sharing the link for that research? I cannot find it on the Google search now.
Yeah, I'll share it.
I think I chose the wrong keyword. Thank you.
For reference, we ran that's almost the exact same survey internally, which is why we're now running it externally. We ran it internally to get dev feedback, and there were some things that I still had questions about, and so we decided we would ask people that might have different pain points than what our team has. So there's another version of that that's probably linked as related issue that you can go through the internal results as well if you would like to see where that survey landed the first time.
Yeah, okay, I'll ask Caitlin. Yeah, she might be having a lot of work and a lot of things to push out. And if we have a lot of things happening for our research panel, she might want to hold off so that we're not spamming people, but I'll ask her to see what the timeline looks like. Okay. Amy, you mentioned issues, separate issues to track the documentation, separate from the implementation issues. Anything else that you'd like to share with us that you are finding helpful, or things that could be more helpful for us to do, not only for documentation, but also for UI text?
The UI text issues are working well. So far, I was actually working on one in the background. Honestly, no feedback. That from my perspective, this release felt like it went reasonably well. I don't know how it felt for the rest of you because I wasn't here in the previous release. Now, just keep name checking me on things that you identify. The main reason I want a separate issue for the merge request work is that I need to get an idea of how many screenshots I'm going to have to replace. And I can do that separate from words.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think this feedback is actually better to relay to Andre and Michelle, and also the rest of the engineering team.
Oh, I can
So
do that.
I'll copy this point to our weekly sync that should happen tomorrow. Yeah, if you can't join, that's okay. I will relay it, or me or Kai or someone else will relay it for them.
I'll be there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't have anything else to discuss.
Cool. Thanks, Pedro, for putting all this together again. And it's good to see everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. 13/11 starts Thursday. So
I hope your head won't be buzzing and going crazy until then, but I think it might. Good luck to you, is what I'll say.
the planning crunch. I feel like it sneaks up every month. It's not true, but it does feel like that.
Oh. Well, good to see you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.